This is the brand new Yoeleo G21 Altera. I just finished building it. We're gonna go over all the details about it, how I've built this bike, what's my first impression on the unboxing experience, the build quality, building this bike, and today we're gonna be taking it on a first ride. I want to be fully transparent here. Yoeleo sent this bike for free, but has absolutely no control in these videos and everything I'm saying about this bike. They've been quite nice. They haven't asked for any updates. They haven't rushed me to do content. Here is just my full experience building their bike and riding their bike today. Build it with the Yoeleo's own gravel bike, the RD Pro C45. This is something I love about this gravel bike is aero wheels. 45mm wheels isn't standard when you look at wheels that comes on gravel bikes right now. They're a bit on the deeper side, which means they are technically faster. Not all the time, it depends on your tire rim combo. But I've built this bike with the Wheeltop GEX wireless Chinese group set. So Wheeltop is a brand that I've been loving on my road bike, and that was the first time I tried it out on this gravel bike. Pairing it with a 105 crank with a Past Quest 48T, which is way bigger than the frame's limitation, more on that later. And the rear cassette is a SRAM Force 12-speed 10 to 44 that I've took from another gravel bike. So Yoeleo being a direct-to-consumer first, they ship their bikes directly to consumers from China or from warehouses around the world. And I have to mention here, this was the single best unboxing experience I have ever seen for any bikes. The way that they thought about putting the handlebars and the fork within the frame, and the way everything was protected, and the way everything was easy to unpack, it was a really good experience. And this tells me that if Yoeleo puts so much of the time and energy having those details of the unboxing experience, it gave me confidence that everything else around this bike is also a 10. I have to say here, the way they package every hardware of this bike into detail, well-explained small plastic bag for each piece that came with an instruction manual that was actually clear to use on how to mount the headset spacer the right way and the bearings, how much torque goes in each bolt. Every details needed to build this bike was in that manual, something I have never seen on a Chinese bike before. So kudos to Yoeleo to have it so clear that I would say almost every home bike mechanic should be able to build their bike on themselves. So routing the front hydraulic hose was so easy. All I did literally was just push the cable in and it got out from that hole. In the past on other frames, I had so much difficulty to route that front cable through the fork. It was always going up the steer tube and not out of the small hole. So routing both cables through the headset and through the handlebars was, I would say, like a 6 out of 10. I do believe that it was a bit too tight around this space of the handlebars, but overall, after a little bit of tinkering, I was able to make it work. I believe that if you have a little bit of experience, you shouldn't have too much difficulties. Bottom bracket wise, I was happy to see a T47. This is actually my first bike riding this bottom bracket standard. It looks strong and it feels to me that everything is straight and that it will allow that bike to last a long time. A lot of bikes now comes with T47 bottom bracket standard. I feel this is where the industry is going, and I'm quite excited to be testing that out here on my first T47 bottom bracket. I have not much more to say about that. Tire clearance right now, I have a Pirelli 45mm Cinturato Gravel H, and there's still plenty of space. This is quite good because if you ride into mud and mucky area, you do want some clearance around the frame. So this frame fits up to a 53mm tire, which is great. But if you ride in wet and really bad gravel condition, you always want clearance. So I love the fact that this 53mm allows a 45 to have lots of clearance. So in case there is mud accumulating here, it should not block the wheel from turning, which means more watt saving, which means faster bike. Overall, the geometry of this frame is what a modern gravel bike should look like and be. It has a lower bottom bracket, a beefy area around there. It has like those drop chain stays. It has a bit more of a slacker head tube, so that way you can slam that bike and it doesn't impact relax in a comfortable position. You have now a round seat post, or you're able to put a dropper post or any suspension seat post as well. So before, in their last version of that bike, it was a D-shaped seat post, and they changed that because they want the customer to be able to customize his bike. So it's a round seat tube, a 27.5, which fits lots of options. Now, two sort of ish unique feature about this bike is the frame storage. So you have a top tube bag that can be replaced by just like a quick opening that you can just put your hand in. I still haven't figured out how does that work. I need to find it out. But you have a bag here that has not a lot of space. You cannot really fold this bag, because if you put too much stuff in, you will have difficulties to push it back into the frame. But overall, this is cool. The only thing is, this is plastic here, the open and close latch, and it's like this is prone to potentially break. So I hope either Yoeleo sells some replacement bags online on their website. I haven't checked that out, or they come out with maybe just like a regular plate to cover those holes if you do not want the in-frame storage. But it's pretty cool. I have to see here right now, I have nothing, but we're gonna check the bottom one. All right, so let me show you what's inside of the bottom storage. So it's pretty much full. I did have a hard time to push it back in, so now I am having a hard time to take it out. So, oh shit, it's stuck there. So I just have a tube and a CO2, but now why am I not able to take it out? That was maybe a bit too much. Okay, there you go. So that was difficult. Inside of that bag, all I had was literally just one TPU tube, one CO2 cartridge, one tire lever, and one pressed head. So you have to not be too much in a rush to make it work, but it's cool to have. Is it better than not having a saddle bag? Difficult to say. Anyway, yeah, that's just too much. I'll just, what if I take off the tire lever? Is that better? Okay, well, that tail lever was maybe a bit too much. Let's take it out. So the bike came with two really nice looking carbon fiber bottle cage. I haven't tested them out yet if they hold the bottle well into rough condition. I'll keep you guys posted on that into my long-term review. But what I love about this bottle cage is they have two positions, so you can decide if you want your bottles a bit lower on the down tube or the C tube, or higher. Personally, I'm a small rider, so I love to have my bottles a bit on the higher side, so it allows me to reach them a bit easier. In terms of the paint job, Yoeleo went with something I guess pretty safe for everyone to love. It's called the champagne color. I do love it. It's a sort of a golden gray. It's more towards the gray than the gold. It has a little bit of topography on top of here. It's cool. This paint job is something that you're gonna like on day 1 and day 1,000. So I love it, and it's the only color you have. Or you can go fully custom with Yoeleo custom paint jobs, but I don't know how much that costs. One thing I have to mention about the wheels is how easy it was to mount the tubeless tires on. This is something in the past I've struggled with some rims and tire combos, but these Pirelli Cinturato gravel and these rims, it was very easy to mount. Absolutely no problem pumping those tires for the first time, putting some sealant inside of them. So just something that gives me confidence that if I'm stuck on the side of the road and I have to fix something with the tire, I will most likely be able to mount that tire on the bead easily again. So, all right, let's talk about a few downsides of this frame so far. So first one, big one I would say, is the chainring capacity. Right now it's a 48T, which is not supported by Yoeleo. If you look online, the max chainring size is a 42. How did I make it work? So I did put a fuel spacer between the bottom bracket and the crank to give more space for the chainring to clear. I did order 42T, but it haven't arrived yet. So once it arrives, I will put it on. But I feel like a 42 in this day and age of very fast gravel is a bit on the smaller side. You never really want to be on a 10T at the back. So having a bigger chainring at the front allows the rider to be more in the middle gears in the back of the cassette, which is the most efficient gears. Right now it fits because of the spacer, but it's so close to the chainstay here. If there were mud or anything like that, it would probably get stuck there, and it's not good. So once that 42 arrive, I'm gonna put it on, but I just wish there was a bit more clearance here. So if you plan on running bigger gears, keep that in mind. So I was not able to put my left crank power meter a stage. The power meter goes a bit on the inside of the arm, and it was touching the chainstay. It was not clearing. So I could maybe put some spacer there as well to space the arm out, but then it's going to mess up with my Q factor. I really want a power meter on this bike, so maybe I'll have to source a crank-based or pedal-based power meter for the future. Oh, what a freaking save. It's really windy. So this brings me to my last issue-ish with this frame and the handlebar combo is the sizing. So I'm 5'6", 170 centimeter. All my frames are 52 centimeters. I've looked at the size chart of this one and compared to my felt, my Tavelo, my wind space. 52 was my size with this handlebar, and I feel it's a little bit on the bigger side. As we can tell here, the top tube is not really sloping, and when I go on top of it, my balls are touching. It's not uncomfortable, but usually I have always a little bit more clearance around this place. So the problem with the sizing of this bike is not necessarily the size of the frame. I could have went with a 48 or like a X small bike, which is what I would have preferred. So I could have like a longer saddle length going out of the bike. But then the choice of the handlebars was what limited me. So the longest handlebar they have is 115 by 40. And it's a bit too wide. These days, people want to ride 36 and 38. So to be forced at minimum to ride a 40 mil handlebar on the hoods and it flares out to a 42, that's cool. I like the flare, but the fact that this is the smallest width and the length is also on the shorter side forced me to go with a longer and a bigger frame because the 120 and a 125 handlebar was not available. So if I could have get 120, 125 length, I would have went with the X small frame. So then my balls would not be touching the top tube right now, and my saddle would be higher out, which makes the bike looks better. Overall, I'm quite happy building this bike. Despite those few little tweaks, it's not that big of a deal. It's just something to keep in mind. I still give this bike build and the experience and the feature of this frame a solid 7.8 out of 10. Let's do my favorite hometown gravel loop, and I'm gonna give you guys my feedback on like my first ride impression of the Yoeleo G21 Altera. We have a bunch of different terrains, from single track in the woods, to beach, to rock gardens, to fast gravel, to small little climbs. Let's get to it. All right, our first section is here. Straight into the woods. We're going to the drops here. Oh, the drops feels good. The flare is great. Wooden path. It's quite difficult to talk. Actually, comment the bike feel. I have to say here, the bike feels a bit more on the relaxed side. It's not nervous, not going really fast, so it's a bit more difficult on these slower turns. Now we have a little bridge right here. Out of the saddle, yeah, I can tell this handlebar is quite wide. Got a little climb up here. Now we're gonna go into my top favorite section right there. Let's go to the drops. Let's go to the beach. Oh yeah. All right, there's bumps here. Big bumps. Yeah, that flows. This is very difficult terrain. The sand is really soft and it gets quite technical here. We have a little first rock garden. Wow. Second one right here. Whoa. All right, saddle's a little bit on the high side. I'm gonna put it down by a little notch. It's already looking like such a small seat post exit, and lowering the seat post will mean less flex, will mean less comfort. Technically. Oh yeah, that saddle feels a bit better now. Whoa. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Damn. That really trucked through that section. All right, how's that descent? Whoa. Super technical. I'm gonna get that bike a little bit dirty here. I have to look where I'm going because there's big, oh! We have true mud here. All right, little report about the beach. So far the bike handles quite well. It's stable, it flows through the rock gardens. Nothing to report, this is just good performance here. The flat aero bars is really comfortable here. It's just the right size for my small little hands. I'm quite comfortable. I see myself climbing in this position. The stock stand, the wet sand, so still lots of clearance here. I see there's a start of build-up right here between the chainstay and the big ring, but technically there should be enough space with, I have a 42, a smaller ring. So right now it's good, but if it was more wet, more mud, that would probably stick. And the front as well, still lots of clearance. Let's test the pavement here, headwind. I am about to get into this aero position, but it's definitely on the higher stack side. I think I'm going to remove a spacer or two. Let's go straight to the big rocks. See how I handle. Yeah, that was smooth. That was so smooth. Lots of wind today. Here we got loose gravel here. It's good. All right, more rocks. Sweet. All right, up there. Train tracks. No train, that's good. Nice. Little report on this first stretch of a little more like on the fast gravel side. We did that a lot of crosswind and did not feel any push from the side. Like even though we have aero wheels, they did react quite well. I was able to control my lines. Got a saddle, push, push, sprint, sprint uphill. Yeah. Super reactive. Oh. Yes. Yeah, that was good. All right, the gravel's done for today. Let's go home and debrief this frame. So what are the next steps with the Yoeleo G21 Altera? So in 3 weeks, I have my main gravel event of the year. It's called Big Red, probably the biggest gravel event here in Quebec. And this is the bike that I'm going to take. But before that, I really need to truly test it out because you never want to take a brand new bike on race day. So I'm going to try to take it at least on 1 or 2 150K rides, test out the components, adjust the height of the seat post, make sure like everything breaks in. My long-term review, it's gonna come at the end of the season. I need at least 1,000 kilometers on this bike. And gravel bikes are not a bike that I ride that much lately. So yeah, I need more time for the end of the year. I really wanna make sure that a smaller chainring fits good and there's no mud that gets stuck here. I want to make sure that the handlebar shape is fine. Like right now it is on the bigger side. I would have loved a 38 or a 36 on top and a longer stem. So I could have maybe ridden the smaller frame, longer stem, and have a bit more of a racy position, a bit closer to what I ride on a road bike. Right now I do feel that the saddle setback, there's quite a lot of it. I cannot really be on top
of the BB like I am on a road bike. I'm already a bit past the limit here. How's the wheel feel in crosswind? Are they fast? Are they slow? Am I going to lose a bottle during a race into a rock garden? This is so important. I never want to lose bottles there. And how does the internal storage end up? Are they like really a usable feature? Is it a gimmick? Is this little flimsy plastic cover will break over time? These are all questions that I will be trying to answer for you guys by the end of the year. But overall, first impression, good bike, good geo, good price, cool paint job, lots of feature, everything that you will want into a modern gravel bike, except the handlebar size. This is, I think for me, is the biggest letdown of this bike. But yeah, will I get used to it? Probably. Is it fine? Yes, but it's just not optimal for me right now, at least on this first impression ride. So this is it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any question in the comments down below. Happy to answer you guys, and I will see you to the next video.